Um, I am going to I feel inspired today to talk about some things that have been going on over the last week, as I always do, just kind of observe the world and observe what's going on. And today's show is The Way of the Aligned Warrior. And basically, what I'm going to really touch upon is the importance of balancing our masculine and our feminine energies, or AKA our yin and our yang energy. And interestingly, today I had a lot of things happening, and I'm like processing, where shall we begin? And so what I'm feeling is it's important that there's an understanding of what an aligned warrior of light is. And I feel like a lot of us, like, we have this soul calling, each of us in its own way. We have our soul calling to us to embody our own divinity, which in essence, if you want to keep it really simple, is to thine own self be true, to be true to self, to really show up in your world, wherever your world is, whether you're here in the US or you're in Africa or you're in Jamaica, whatever energy you are in, whatever holographic movie you're playing in. The goal for all of us, the true alignment and the soul calling, is for us each to step up with authenticity and integrity. And so when I talk about being an aligned warrior of light, in a nutshell, that's what I'm talking about, is the balance of our yin and yang energies. And what I'm observing, and what I've been observing for a long time on this planet, and if we look at history, it's been a misaligned imbalance on the planet for a long time, thousands of years. Yet I see so many humans that are warriors of light that are coming to the planet and that are here waking up right now and remembering they have an important mission, remembering that they're here to actually be true to themselves, to embody what I love. I'm going to read you a card soon from my, I believe it was my Kuan Yin deck, and it's fierce compassion. And I love that phrase of fierce compassion, because what I've learned is that to really embody compassion, we have to start with having the deepest love for self. We have to truly have compassion for ourselves. And when we see misalignment in the world, a lot of the imbalance comes from either a martyr energy, the martyrdom of I need to just suffer for everyone else and at the cost of myself to earn love. Like, if I do enough good deeds, it's very typical religious lessons that are told to us, and we've been taught these, the misaligned ones, which is that if we do a lot of good deeds and if we're good enough, one day we can go to heaven and then we'll be worthy of living in eternity, with God. And what I really know in my soul is that that is what's caused a lot of martyrdom and a lot of suffering, a lot of poverty consciousness. And then the other extreme of that is the aggressive nature of humans when, you just see it in the signs of any soul that's denying its own true nature, in essence, is going to create a disruption in their energy field, and it's going to lead to some kind of an outburst or some kind of way of release. And so I was talking to my new partner, and I won't call it crime, but I do feel we're going to be way showers and like illuminating the light wherever we go with these corporate shaman workshops. And my partner Will and I were talking today on the phone, and I was really talking a lot about this. Last night I went to see Jurassic World with my family, and it was pretty freaking violent, so I wouldn't recommend taking little kids to that, but if they're open to it and you want them to see that sort of thing, whatever you like. But in the film, the gist of what I got from Jurassic World is that as I was observing this film, I'm like, this is like what humans do. This whole film is about they're messing with Mother Nature, and they're genetically trying to create something to use as basically a warfare weapon in, what am I saying today? A weapon in warfare. That's what I'm trying to say. They are creating this dinosaur that they want to be like indestructible, and they're not really thinking about that this could turn on them in a big picture. And so they're just creating without consciousness, which is a lot of what the shaman in me is all about bringing awareness of, is conscious creation. And then they basically create this creature, and of course it gets loose because that's, nature's going to wreak some havoc to teach this lesson. and they're trying to contain it in a wall. They're trying, you know, they don't show it any love or any interaction with others, and so it's very out of balance. It's very out of alignment and very angry. And I'm watching this film and how, in essence, it turns on them in the end of the film. And, you know, recently my husband was telling me there's some stories in SeaWorld of these whales that they have taken into captivity for entertainment, and they want to make money, and they want to train them to do tricks and whatnot. And one of the whales apparently has turned on the people, the handlers, and has killed a couple handlers. Actually, it wasn't Ron that told me that. It was one of my soul sisters, one of my clients I was talking to. She actually is friends with a guy that works for CNN, and she was saying how he actually filmed that, whatever show that they had done on it. And what I see is, you know, in essence, when we take a soul that is here to be free, and it's here to express its divinity, it's here to be able to move and flow in accordance to its own divine alignment and will, and then you try to capture that creature and you put it in an aquarium, and you just want to charge high ticket prices for people to come and be entertained. To the humans, they're just not getting it, that soul, that creature is an actual soul, that is a living being, and you can't really do that and get away with it, and it's going to get frustrated, it's going to get agitated. And I see this a lot. This is why I'm not a big fan of zoos, because I see and feel empathically a lot of animals' disturbance in zoo settings of just being contained. And in essence, like if you see someone like something like a whale, that its true nature, its instinct is to migrate and move with the flow with its pod and like move through the sea and be free, and you take it from its family. And this is where there's a lot of controversy with SeaWorld is, you know, when we started these things years ago, a lot of people had compassionate hearts because they were like rescuing endangered wildlife or wildlife that was actually hurt. So they would rescue and help heal them. But the trick is, the balance is, you go from this place where you want to help, and then you start seeing you can make money, and so then you want to enslave. And that's where we have this fine balance and delicate dance where if we really want to honor all of life, we really need to have our hearts in the right places. And if we're in it just to make money off of, you know, this animal that's going to do tricks, and we're not caring that it's showing us signs of distress, and then a handler gets killed because of this, and then humans are all angry at the animal, I just think that's fucking crazy. Like, we big picture, we need to start showing honor and reverence for these creatures that are really in distress, because we are containing the vessel, that we're containing their soul, and their soul is not meant to be in an aquarium. And if you really can relate to this in your own way, I would like you to think about yourself as a woman listening today that's in a marriage that you don't feel, you know, honored in. Maybe you feel enslaved in that marriage, you feel disrespected in that marriage. Feel that and energetically feel how truthful that feels. What if maybe you're a man listening today that, you know, you're in a relationship you don't feel love and you don't feel honored in, or maybe you're in a corporate setting and a job and you just feel like no one really treats you with honor or respect and you're kind of pissed about it. This is what we're here to face and like deal with, not run from and not keep pushing down. I feel like most of the issues on our planet of disease, the dis-ease, comes from the misalignment and the tuning in to the issues, so that if we tune in and can go, okay, what is this pain? Let me lean into it. Let me ask it questions. Let me get to know what it's here for, because it's a gift to help me. It's here to set me free. And a lot of us, like I have so many clients, truly, across the board, my clients have that same thing in common, where they start to become truthful as they work with me, and they're like, damn, Tanya, I have been inauthentic for so long. I have not been true to myself for so long that it's almost like they don't know what to do. They're so afraid to just be them. And it's so sad to me, but at the same time, I know that sadness and that pain that they have to embrace is so purposeful, because they need that to cultivate all the deeper gifts of wisdom that they wanted to get from that darkness. And trust you, I have walked through my share of darkness to cultivate this wisdom and to really understand how important the balance is. And each of you in your own way are doing the same thing. Some of you are going through situations where you're being bullied or harassed, and you're not treated with equality. At some level, your soul chose that path because it's cultivating this deeper wisdom. It's learning compassion. It's learning wisdom of how to respond in situations and not lose yourself. And one of the things that I've learned, and I am a fucking warrior of light, and I am not afraid to say it, and one thing that I have learned in my journey is that so many humans do not like this energy when it shows up, because in a sense, I will shine that light on a human like, you know what, look what you're doing. This is not serving you. You are a controller. You are enslaved, and you are now trying to enslave others. And that shit isn't going to work on me, but I will shine that light and help you see if you're ready. And if you're not, you're going to go run screaming and shame me and call me crazy. Trust me, in my journey, I've been called crazy so many times. That is nothing new. And bring it. I am not worried about people thinking I'm crazy. But do you know how many times in my circles, in the healing circles that I lead and in the with the clients I work with, so many times across the board, the humans' issues they're having being true to self. They are terrified. They are terrified of what people think of them. I have women I've worked with that have eating disorders of, you know, from bulimia to anorexia to just like sitting in their room and overeating at night and their sadness. And deep down, I know they need to just come to terms with their own truth. They need to speak that truth. They need to own their own voice. They need to love themselves for who they are and freaking start talking. Start expressing what your heart wants to say. Stop stuffing your emotions, or stop starving yourself and taking and denying the very life force that you are here. It is your divine right to embody that power. And so I get it. A soul like mine fucking lights a fire under people and it starts a spark. But if you're not comfortable with that, that's cool. I'm going to still drop the seeds wherever spirit guides me. But, you know, we need to come to this place where we stop saying that the ones who are the way showers and the ones who don't walk the same as us, the collective consciousness really loves to bully and harass and judge the ones that are trying to lead in the best way and help show another alternative way that's from honor and from reverence and from love. And throughout history, if you look it up, we've been called crazy. We've been burned at stakes. We've been drowned, set on fire. We've been, I'm sure you name it, it's been done. Beheaded. All these things happen. But the thing is that is never going to stop this evolution that is happening. There is a conscious shift happening. This consciousness is happening, and we are none of us going to stop it. And so what was so beautiful is the other night, if any of you have not seen the movie The Celestine Prophecy, I highly encourage you to see it. I'm actually really contemplating having a movie night for anybody local so they can come and watch it with us. But I highly recommend you write that down and you go watch that movie and read the book, because the book is going to take you deeper, as typically this happens, and the film will give you a lot of visuals. So I feel like both tools will be really helpful. But in the film, in essence, there's a man, well, there's several men. There's like the military kind of energy and the men that are actually trying to stop this prophecy from happening. And this prophecy is all about a time in consciousness where there will be great shifts in consciousness, and it will take us in quantum leaps forward as humanity. And we will suddenly begin to see the world as it really is, illuminated and beautiful and magical. This is my world every day. But so many that think I'm cray-cray, it's not their world. And in their world, it's a world of suffering and sadness and fear and corruption and greed and manipulation and enslavement and you name it. That energy is very real to them, and I get it. But what the Celestine Prophecy is showing is that these humans that were trying to stop this movement from happening, it wasn't not going to be something they could stop. And so their misaligned ways of trying to control that expansion of consciousness led to a lot of chaos and destruction. But in essence, the shifts are coming anyway. And I read this book years ago. I want to say it was back in like 2001 or maybe even early that I read Celestine Prophecy. And I myself have always observed and tuned into synchronicity and really paid attention to that. When the universe is bringing synchronistic events again and again, that is a magical time to give honor and reverence to. I encourage you, if you're not having synchronicity, to ask for it. And then when it comes, to listen and honor it, because this is the universal flow that helps to guide us to knowing deeper truth. It helps us to understand and awaken to our soul mission. And so if we're afraid to tune into synchronicity and we just ignore it, it's not that it stops happening, but it just kind of like, it gets